Alrighty guys, so in this video, we're going to be talking about who is the sales letter aimed at, okay? So is it targeted at everybody? Do you target a general audience? Do you target VPs and CEOs and janitors? And is it for everybody? Okay. There are sales letters that can target everybody. However, if you're doing your first one and you have a specific niche in mind, you need to target the sales letter at the niche. This is the key, okay? Ty Lopez says, don't go broad until you're at 10 mil. So if you haven't sold 10 million or something, don't go broad. Don't go into the masses, okay? Go niche. It's niche specific. So you're writing the sales letter with one person in mind. That's how you get the power. That's how you get it working. It's when the reader thinks that it's perfect for them, it's just for them. As soon as they think that it could be for other people, the trust is broken. Gone. They're like, oh, wait, this is for, I'm not like that. That's bullshit. Then they stop. Okay? So if the letter is aimed just at that person, just at that niche, then it's going to resonate really, really well. And it allows you to go deep. That's why in the V2 framework, we made it really hard to jump over niches. We made these questions and these answers and these cells. It's really tough to do multiple niches at the same time. And that was on purpose because we know the power of being really, really niche specific. Okay. So just general rule, if you can't take the person on a date, if you can't picture that person, if you can't, put a name to the face, okay, or just even picture the face, then it's not specific enough. You're not selling to medium-sized enterprises. You're not selling to, this type of vertical. That's not a person. That's just a label. Okay. It's a label. So you want to sell to that person and you're aiming your sales letter at the person. And that's how you want to be writing it. You're thinking of that person as you're writing it. What do they want to hear? What do they want to, what language do they use? Does that make sense? So if you can't find a person, you can't think of that person, it's not specific enough. If you have VPs and CEOs, pull back for a second. Who's the real customer? Who signed the check? Okay. This is a question that comes up. Oh, our users are, maybe the engineers are using it. Let's say you're selling into the enterprise and the engineers are using it. Okay. But are they the customer? No, they're not the customer. Who signed the check? Who made the decision to buy? The engineers, the engineers using your platform is just the mechanism through which you deliver the value. Okay? That's it. It's just a mechanism. Yeah, people have to use it. Users need to use it. That's the mechanism. But who's the customer? It's the customer says, I got a problem and I'm going to spend some money to solve it. Okay? And what's the mechanism needed to solve it? Oh, I got to teach my engineers this and I got to push, they have to buy into this. Right? They have to buy into this feature. They have to buy into this new process, etc. That's the mechanism. Okay. So that was useful. I just wanted to throw it in there, just in case you forgot. But, yeah, the video sales letter is aimed at one person. Okay. So when you're writing, aim it at one person. Okay. So it should read like you're speaking to a friend. It's specific. It's going to cause a massive amount of rapport. Okay. And don't be afraid to double down on your customer. Now I'm going to get into you might get your kids out. If your kids are listening, get the ear muffins out. Okay. So yeah, don't be afraid to double down on your customer. Here's how you get crazy, crazy resonance in the market. Okay. You know your customer so well that you can start making claims that no one has the courage to make. Okay. But because you know the customer so well and it's very, very, very specific, you're going to get the resonance. And if you can do this, then you're going to get a crazy amount of resonance. So you want to be super, super, super specific. So an example of this is Greg and I were working on his copywriting for a long time. And I was explaining to Greg, and we talk about this all the time. Humans only have three problems. You either make somebody money, you either give them mating opportunities, or help them live longer. Okay. So Greg is in the fitness industry. He's in the business of helping people get in shape, right? And specifically these 19, 18-year-olds all the way up to like 40 or 30, like his general market is in that band. And so he's like, well, my product doesn't make them more money. Well, kind of maybe indirectly we can talk about that. It could help them live longer, but the niche and the market is really not trying to do that. If it was a fitness program for people, a little bit older, then that would probably be a benefit that you want to speak to. But these people are young, right? They're looking for mating opportunities. So Greg doubled down on the fuck me now physique. Now, that headline speaks for itself. What does that tell you? That headline is very, very specific to a young male, and it just goes for the jugular. It just goes for the jugular. So he started marketing this, and I was like, yeah, like do it. And he started marketing it, and the resonance is insane. The customer was just like, that's exactly what I want. The male from 18 to 30 that's exactly what they want. And so when you know the customer and it's so specific and you know the person, and so you can start playing with claims that only you are going to be able to do. Let's say a brand new fitness company starts a brand new supplement, right? Are they going to use that claim? No way. There's too much risk, way too much risk, okay? But if you know the person that you're going after, you know that person, you crystal clear, and it's very, very specific, then you can start going deep, and you can start saying things and making marketing claims and making communications that only you will, only you will be able to do, okay? You see this happen in music too. When the artist gets more established and whatnot, they know their market, they know who their songs resonate with, and they start doubling, like the good artists, they start doubling down on it, and they go off they go off into another tangent. You see that with some of these artists, right? And so that's the benefit of niching down in your sales letter. So you want to be, again, this kind of ties back to the foundational stuff. You want to be extremely focused on the person and get really deep. And again, a sales letter aimed at multiple people, it's just going to be like, meh, people are going to be like, meh, right? But if it's aimed at one person, that's when you can get really, really specific with the language and really start creating that resonance. And if you really understand somebody, then you can start with, you can do something like what Greg's doing. So that's who it's aimed at. Now, what if you have multiple niches, right? What if you have your established business, if you have multiple niches? Well, just do one at a time. It's not like these sales letters, they're evergreen. They persist. The beauty about YouTube and video is that the yield is actually bigger the longer they're on. With the half-life on a YouTube video is huge, right? I don't know if it's an Instagram video or a little short little post or a little tweet, half-life's like 12 hours. Okay. But with a video and something that's, foundationally sound, that the yield is better. That it's not going anywhere unless YouTube shuts down or the internet shuts down. It's not going anywhere. So don't be afraid to create multiple sales letters for different niches. Okay. And understand the amount of energy it takes to create one sales letter for one niche. Okay. So you don't want to be mixing. You don't want to be going too broad. Okay. Does that make sense? So if your customer is, a CEO at a certain type of vertical, speak to them, and don't be afraid of, missing out. I think the reason why there's so much resistance to this, I think the customers, they're afraid to miss out. They're like, oh, well, I don't want to miss out on this market. I don't want to miss out on this market. Okay. Don't be afraid to miss out. Okay. Let your competitors do that. Let them think that. Okay. Don't be afraid to miss out, because, if you try to bring everybody in, it's not going to work. If you try to capture, if you try to chase two rabbits, it's not going to work. Okay. So don't be afraid to miss out. Just double down, be focused, spend a couple days or a week just writing a specific letter that's targeted at one person, one customer. Maybe you only have one case study or two case studies in this specific niche. That's all you need. Okay. You know their problems. You know what you did and the urgency levels of those problems. And make that letter just really, really specific to them. Okay, guys? And then once it's done and it's working, it's not like it stops working. You need to write one sales letter that will work for years. It works for years. And then you just move on to the next one. Okay. So if you have multiple niches, get one working and then do do the next one. All right, guys. So those are my thoughts on who's a sales letter aimed at. Okay. And we'll see you in the next video.